It wasn't built to be beautiful. It wasn't built for tourists, nor for drone photos. The Great Wall of China was born from one thing: fear. Before these stones, the inevitable question arises: what drives an empire to build a wall thousands of kilometers long? How many lives are you willing to sacrifice to keep an enemy away? Can a wall really stop an invasion? Or does it simply become the scar of something much bigger? We call it the Great Wall of China, but this name isn't enough. It doesn't tell the story of the hands that built it. It doesn't tell the story of the bodies that never returned home. It doesn't tell the story of the freezing nights, the invasions, the fires, the kings who feared the darkness, and the enemies hidden beyond the horizon. Before being a tourist attraction, before photos and organized trips, this wall was a border between two worlds. On one side, cultivated fields, cities, roads, villages, where life moves slowly. On the other, emptiness, endless steppes, horsemen fast as storms, people accustomed to appearing and disappearing into the landscape, leaving behind only smoke and fear. For centuries, in northern China, the same threat returned again and again. Sudden cavalcades, villages burned, crops taken, emperors changed, dynasties fell and rose again. But the fear remained. The fear that, at any moment, a sea of horses and spears could appear on the horizon. At first, the answer was not a single wall. There were many, smaller, weaker, walls of packed earth, isolated forts, wooden palisades built quickly, destroyed quickly. Each generation added a piece. Each ruler convinced his wall would be the last. None of them were. Then fear became a plan. A man rose to power with one idea: to unify everything: rules, roads, weights, measures, and the walls. The emperor, remembered as the first to rule a land called China, looked north and saw a border full of gaps. He decided those gaps had to disappear. From that moment, the walls changed. They stopped being fragments and became a single line. A line meant to cross mountains, deserts, rivers, and valleys. No longer many walls, but one body: stone, brick, and towers. A serpent that demanded millions of lives to exist. The first workers arrived on mountain crests where nothing stood before. No roads, no homes, only rock, snow in winter, crushing heat in summer. The order was simple. A wall would rise here. Messages would pass here. Smoke, fire, warnings. And where nothing existed, human lives would fill the space. Farmers taken from the fields, men who had never left their villages, prisoners, soldiers, artisans. They were pushed north like a human current. None knew if they would return. Many didn't. For those in power, the wall was not just defense. It was a statement, a message to enemies and to the people inside. The border would not move. The empire could bend, but it would not break. What they could not imagine was that centuries later, millions would walk these stones with cameras in their hands, unaware that beneath each step could lie a life never recorded. This is where our journey begins, not from a perfect image of the wall at sunset, but from a question: how much does the safety of an empire cost? The Great Wall was built where there was nothing before. Stone was dragged by hand, lifted, passed from shoulder to shoulder, a chain of men moving weight up impossible slopes. Those who fell stood up again. Stopping meant disappearing. By day, the sound of labor never stopped. By night, fires burned quietly against the cold. Some thought of families far to the south. Others watched the north, waiting for movement on the horizon. The wall grew, and with it, its weakness. No wall is ever tall enough to erase fear. Invaders found gaps, used winter, bribed guards. The wall slowed them. It warned, it delayed, but it never made the empire safe. Along its length, watchtowers rose. Inside them, soldiers waited. They watched the sky, the plains, the smoke. Fire became language. One fire, a sighting; two fires, danger; three fires, war. Messages moved faster than horses ever could. As centuries passed, the wall changed. Some parts collapsed. Others were rebuilt. Bricks replaced earth. Stairs replaced ladders. Cannons replaced arrows. The wall adapted just as the empire did. At times, those who ruled China were descendants of the very people the wall was meant to stop. Still, the wall remained. For those living nearby, it was protection, labor, and mystery, a line marking another world. Over time, a belief took root, that the wall was built on human bones. Whether true or not, the meaning remains. This wall is not only stone, it is lives. For centuries, it was a frontier of work and war. Today, it is a symbol, crowded in some places, forgotten in others. But its power is not seen from space. It is felt on the ground. If you ever stand there, it is felt on the ground. If you ever stand there, pause. Look up. That line disappearing into the hills is the sum of fear, ambition, and sacrifice on a scale few things in history can match. If this story changed the way you see the Great Wall, stay with me. On the Past X, every place becomes a story, and this was only the beginning.